Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Power Automate Desktop Training Tutorial. My name is Vishal Bamlani, and in our session today, we will learn about the conditional actions provided by Power Automate Desktop. Conditional actions that will be covered in today's session are if, second is else if, third else action, fourth switch, fifth case, and sixth default case. Let's start with the first action, which is if. So basically, it is used to specify a block of code to be executed if a specified condition is true. It has three properties. First is first operand, second operator, and third second operator. The first property is wherein we have to specify a text value or a number or an expression or a value from previous action to compare with the second operand. Second is the operator, which allows us to choose the relationship between the first operand and the second operand. Whereas the third property, which is second operator, it allows us to specify a text value, a number, an expression, or a value from previous action to compare with the first operand. Let's see how we can make use of this action in Power Automate Desktop. Here, first, let's take an input from a user using display input dialog, drag and drop this action. Basically, this action allows us to take some input from an user. The first property is input dialog title. So basically, this is the title of our input dialog box. So let's enter input information. And second property is input dialog message. So basically, this is the message for the user to input the data accordingly. So let's ask user to enter a number between 0 and 10. So let's keep the messages. Please enter a number between 0 and 10. So default value, it's up to us whether we want to give or not. And then under input type, it gives us three options: single line, password, or multi-line. But for us, single line is suited, so we'll let this be. Now, if you want to keep this dialog box always on top of other windows, we can enable this option. And the output of this action will be stored in user input variable. But let me open this for you, just so you know that this user input variable is of text data type. So since we are asking the user to enter a number, we'll have to convert this text to a number format first. Under actions pane, let's search for convert text to number. Drag and drop this action. Under text to convert, select the user input, click on select. The output will be stored in text as number variable. Click on save. Let's check whether the entered number is less than 10 or not. Using if condition, under actions pane, search for if. Drag and drop this action. The first operand becomes a text as number variable. Let's check if it is less than or equal to 10. Click on save. Now, if this condition is true, let's display a message using display message action. Let's give some notification here. Entered number is less than 10. Let's click on save and run this flow. So this is how our input dialog looks like. So this becomes our title, and this is the message for the user to read and enter the data accordingly. So it is asking us to enter a number between 0 and 10. Let's enter 5 and click on OK. So see, we have this display message saying that our entered number is less than 10, which is correct. Now, what if user mistakenly enters a number greater than 10? It enters number 15. So we have another action, or we can say we can add another condition here to check if the given number or entered number is less than 20 and greater than 10. let's take this condition now. Else if action. Basically, it is used to specify a new condition to test if the first condition is false. So it again has three properties similar to if statement. So we'll skip this and begin to implement this action. Under actions pane, search for else if, drag and drop this action. Now, as we discussed, that our condition will now look like that the entered number is greater than 10 and less than 20. So let's take this express number. Now to check the logical operation in the same condition, you can check like express number is greater than 10 and let's copy this and express number is less than 20 equal to true. So this becomes a condition to check if the entered number is greater than 10 and less than 20. Now let's display some new message here. The entered number is greater than 10 and less than 20. We can save. Now let's run this flow. So let's test a new condition by entering 16 here. As you can see, we have the message accordingly that entered number is less than 20 and greater than 10. Click on OK. Now, what if user enters some number greater than 20? So, if this case occurs, none of our condition will match, right? So we have an action which will run if none of these conditions will match. So that is else action. So basically, it is used to specify a block of code to be executed if the same condition is false. It has no properties. So basically, it will execute if none of the preceding if statements are met. Let's see how we can make use of this action in Power Automate. Under Actions pane, simply search for else. Drag and drop this action. Now, if a number entered is less than 10 or equal to 10, it will go with this particular message. If it is between 10 and 20, it will go with this. And if it is greater than 20, then it will execute the else part. So entered number is greater than 20. Let's remove the remaining part. Click on save. Now let's run this flow. So let's enter 32, which is greater than 20. See, this time it executed the else action, which means neither this nor this particular action or condition was met. Okay, and the execution will complete. I hope you were able to understand the if, and else action. Now, similar to if, and else construct to evaluate a condition, we have an alternate action called switch case statements. Let me bring it up for you. So we have switch action here. So basically, it is used to perform different actions based on different conditions. And this expression is evaluated just once. It has just one property, which is value to check, wherein we have to specify the text value, number, or value to compare with the following cases. Now let's see how we can make use of this in Power Automate Desktop. First, let me disable these actions. The actions pane, search for switch. I can drop this action here. Now under value to check, here you have to specify either the value or the variable which will be part of our conditions below. So here we have text as number. Click on select. Now to check this variable as part of our conditions, we have a section wherein The value of the expression is compared with the values of each case. If there is a match, the associate block of code is executed. It has two properties. First is the operator, wherein we have to select the appropriate operator for the particular case. And second is value to compare, wherein we have to specify a value to compare with the switch block value. Let's introduce this in Power Automate Desktop. From the switch statement, let's bring it a case section. So you can search for case under actions pane, drag and drop the section here. Now here, let's check whether the entered number is less than or equal to 10. So basically, the entered number is checked here. If it is true, let's display the same message. And let's enable this. Entered number is less than 10. Now, what if the entered number is greater than 10 and less than 20? Let's bring it another case here. Let's make it less than or equal to 20. Click on save. And let's copy this same display message and enable the section. And finally, if none of the case matches, we have a default case which will run. So here, let's copy the third display message, which is entered number is greater than 20. So this default case will run only when the above cases didn't match. Now let's try to run this block. First, let's enter a value less than 10. Let's enter 6 and click on OK. The first case is true and it gave us the message accordingly. Click on OK and the flow execution will complete. Let's try to run this flow again, and this time we'll enter a value greater than 10. Let's enter 17. As you can see, the entered number is greater than 10 and less than 20. So it went to the second case. Let's click on OK. And again, the execution will stop. And the last one will enter a number greater than 20. Let's enter 32 again. Click on OK. Now, as you can see, the first two cases were not true. And this time default case ran, wherein the entered number is greater than 20. Let's click on OK. And the execution will stop again. I hope you were able to differentiate between the switch case construct and if else if construct. So this marks the end of our module. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would request you all to subscribe my channel for more videos. Also, I have listed down some suggested videos as well as the ones next in line for your ease. Cheers.